So today I made this drawing, after following the whole saga of the Humboldt Park in Chicago's alligator thing. First off, I've never been to Illinois. All I know about it is, basically the whole thing about Chicago is there, and it's also known as the Windy City. But I also know that alligators are not native there, and they don't belong in the wild there. Now, apparently what went on was somebody illegally got this alligator as a pet, and I guess kept it in their bathtub. It got too big for them or whatever, and they decided to release it into the lake. First off, alligators are not pets. I'm not a wildlife expert. I'm never going to claim to be. But I'm going to say this much is fact. Alligators belong, number one, in the wild, and number two, in the wild in their native states. Basically, they belong in the wild in the South. They ain't gonna survive a snowstorm. Alligators ain't built for that. And, gators up north, they belong, the only time an alligator belongs in the west, the northwest, or anywhere else but their natural habitats is if they're in a zoo. And, used for educational purposes. Because, I understand apparently people will get pet alligators illegally for these quote-unquote status symbols, but gators are not props. They're living animals that don't make good pets at all. They belong in the wild, ideally in the wild. They don't need people to feed them and stuff like that. But in places where alligators are not native, they don't belong being released in the wild in places where they are not naturally found in the wild. Now, as far as the Humboldt Park gator Chance the Snapper is concerned, I'm glad that the gator was humanely caught. I'm glad that it's going to go to a reputable place and be treated well, because unfortunately it can't be shipped back to, back to Florida, Georgia, I think South Carolina, South Texas, Louisiana, wherever, and wherever and all ever the alligators are found in the wild due to it being so used to people. But, taking it and putting it in the zoo is the next best thing. Now, the guy that dangled apparently a whole rotisserie chicken on a rope in the water over a bridge. How the heck did the guy think he was going to actually get a hold of the gator after he got it with the chicken? I'm just glad no pets got hurt, no people got hurt. They humanely caught the gator, and it's going to go apparently to a zoo. But at the same time, this could all been avoided if whomever bought the gator in the first place chose to report, somebody dealing illegally in wildlife. one decision and the gator might have had a different story. But like this comic shows, you know, Smooch is thinking this ain't right. And what ain't right is releasing a wild animal into an area where it's not native. It's not natural. And I guess thinking, well, gators live in ponds, here's a pond, you know, and go on their merry way. No. Alligators ain't gonna fit in your bathtub forever. They're gonna outgrow your bathroom. They're gonna eat. They're gonna need a whole lot of room to move. A lot more than you can give them. And to be honest, that gator is never really gonna be tame. It's gonna be used to people for food, and that's it. So I really hope that people learn from this, that they learn, you know, leave alligators in the wild, both in the wild and in the state where they are in the states where they are naturally found. Because you shouldn't have to even own a sign that says danger, gator in water, if you live in a state or you're the elected government official of a state where alligators do not naturally live. You know, if you're that insistent on a pet gator, you know, make up a cartoon called My Pet Gator or something, and, you know, make up a fictional gator and draw it in the cartoon. Or just get, like, you know, they make realistic looking stuffed gators that, you know, that you can buy on, you know, online. If you want a pet gator so much, get one of them realistic looking stuffed gators and, you know, role play with it, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, y'all, to sum it up, don't go illegally catching alligators and, you know, keeping them as pets. They ain't pets. Alligators are wild animals that need to stay in the wild in the states where, not only in the states where they're naturally found in, but they also do not need to be fed by people. Because alligators play an important role in the ecosystem in that particular state. Don't disturb it by illegally catching them and illegally selling them.